because many students, being students, do that, and then they blame us, you know, कि नहीं मैंने तो कुछ भी नहीं सीखा आपकी क्लास से, especially in online class. That is the reason it's compulsory to keep the camera on in the class. Otherwise, I don't have any problem as such.
No problem.
But then the students come with all the complaints in this world, so we have to bear with that.
Okay.
That's the reason. Okay, great. Good morning, both of you. Let's start with a
No.
quick round of introduction because we have a new student over here with us, Hamza. Hamza, you are my first student from YouTube. I don't know how that video blew up on first day, but yes, it did. So let's see how it works out now.
Okay.
Okay, let's start
So
with the
should I?
question. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so should
Basic,
I tell? Okay. So
basic.
my name is Hamza Kazmi. I'm a student of law, currently as an advocate. So I'm preparing for my master's from United States, and I've completed my graduation from Faculty of Law, Aligarh Muslim University. My basic education I have completed from Montfort School, Roorkee, and that's it.
Okay, okay, great, great. As you know, we already talked yesterday. I am from, this
Yeah.
is Meeta. I'm from Pune. Our institute is located in Pune. It's been like 5 years I have been taking training now. And I started with, of course, spoken English. Then I started exploring IELTS, TOEFL, and all the other examinations which exist for as an English proficiency test. I was working in MIT ADT University at that time when I started in 2020. That's where I started. Like I had a lot of free time in the evening, and of course there were some deaths because of COVID. That's why I started taking training in the evening, and apparently I started enjoying it more than what I was doing at that time. So that's when I thought, okay, that's a career that I need to go for. So I took up a course that is Masters in TESOL, that is Masters in Teaching English to the Speakers of Other Language, and that's when in MIT as well I got an opportunity to become a coordinator for Cambridge English examinations. MIT EDT University in Pune is an authorized examination center for all the Cambridge exams except IELTS, of course. And that's when I got an opportunity to give lingua skill examination also, which is an examination for English proficiency by Cambridge. And then later, of course, after rigorous training and all the tests and everything, I became a Cambridge speaking examiner for examinations like CAT, PET, BEC, of course. And I'm not a speaking examiner for IELTS yet, but if I become a examiner
Okay.
for IELTS, I cannot take grading apparently. So I'm good with whatever I'm doing, I would say. And other than that, yeah, in 2020, then I left my job and I started the full time institute, which is in Pune, which I told you in Hadapsar area. And last year, that is 2023, not last year, last to last year, we became authorized consultants for ETS, the examination body of TOEFL, for TOEFL and GRE examinations. And that's where what I told you, you get discounts for examination, test fee, registration, and everything. Because we are authorized partners for it, that's where you get all the benefits. Okay, so that's the thing.
Okay.
That's a little bit about me. Of course, I will share my LinkedIn profile with you. Do go through it, do connect with me. There are a lot of other things which I might have missed out. Yeah, I have done my master's in TESOL. I have done my MBA in IT also. I'm currently doing my third master's, that is MA in English, because I want to go for PhD. Of course, that's a little
Okay,
bit about
that's
me.
great.
Thank you, thank you. That's a little bit about me. Pranjali, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. As you all know, my name is Pranjali. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Pune. I have completed my bachelor's degree in computer application from Savitribai University. I have also completed graphic designing course from Orange Academy. I did job in graphic designer in Affinity Express company, which is based in Kharadi. And
Okay.
my short term goal is to pass the exam as soon as possible and get the admission in US college. And my long term goal is to achieve good position as designer where I can enhance my skill and my knowledge. So that's all about me.
Okay, great. As Pranjali, you are a graphic designer. What
Yes.
opinion do you have about my graphics? The graphics that I put up every day, if you have checked out. I design all of them. I know they are very poor, but thanks to Canva, I am able to do something at least, because apparently you can't invest money everywhere, right? So
Yes,
some
yes.
things you have to do on your own sometimes.
No, that's the designs are actually good.
Really?
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
Canva is beneficial for the non-designers.
Exactly, exactly. अभी और भी tools आया है मैंने सुना है. I want to try out, but of course I haven't got enough time.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. So, Hamza, we started on Monday or Tuesday? Monday. We started on Monday, and we discussed the test format. Then we discussed the reading question types also. As I told you, I will take one session, maybe Saturday evening, where I will cover the question types which you missed out on. That is reading question types. Okay, for
Okay.
you in a quick session. So don't worry about that. Reading format, sorry, the test format is quite easy. You have already given the test before already, so you know mostly. The test has four modules or four sections, four skills, whatever you want to call it, you can call it. It has four skills, which is reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Correct?
Mm.
Now,
Yes.
every module will test your language, of course, as this is an English proficiency test. Now, reading will consist of two passages and 10 questions each. Okay,
Okay.
10 questions each. जब हम question types go through करेंगे, I'll walk you through that again, so don't worry about it. Listening, it will consist of 5 tasks. Okay, some of the
Okay.
tasks will be conversations, some of the tasks will be lectures. You have to listen to a lecture and respond to the questions. There will be 6 questions each for lectures, and for conversations you will have 5 questions each. Overall, over here you get 28 questions. Okay,
Okay.
each question has 1 point, and those 28 points are converted to your 30 ka scale. Okay,
Okay.
then you have your speaking. In speaking you have 4 tasks. Again, each task has 4 points. Okay, and that those scores are basically converted to the scale of 30. Then you have writing. Writing has 2 tasks. Okay, we will go through that. We haven't gone through it yet. We will go through it in next few sessions. We will go through writing has 2 tasks. First is integrated, second is academic discussion task. Each task carries 5 points. Okay, and that is converted to 30 again. 5 5 10. 10 is converted to 30. Okay,
Okay.
that's what
Okay, ma'am.
we have to know. Now, Hamza, you must have already created your ETS ID as you have already registered for the test. So
Yes, ma'am.
over there, once you go on the portal, you will be able to see something called test ready over there.
Yes,
Correct?
ma'am.
On test
Yes.
ready, you have to go to free to you part. Free to you करके दिखेगा. If you don't get it, just message
Okay,
me.
ma'am.
I'll send you a screenshot of where to find it. Over there
Okay.
they put up one task every day. Okay, one
Okay.
free task for us every day. So
Okay.
you have to make sure you have to do that free task every day. Okay,
Okay.
now reading and listening is not very helpful. Listening is still helpful. Reading थोड़ा सा ना वो questions कम देते हैं वहाँ पर. They give only 6 questions or 7 questions sometimes, so that's not very helpful also, but it's good as a practice, I would say. But speaking and writing become very helpful for us.
Okay.
Okay, because those raw scores help us to understand where you stand currently. So
Okay.
daily basis pe you have to keep one particular time where you log in to that portal, do that task. It could be before the class, it could be after the class. Log in over there, do that task. It hardly takes 5 to 10 minutes, it doesn't take more time. Once you finish that task, it will show you the score over there. Take a screenshot of it, take a photo of it, and just send it to me.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that is supposed to be your everyday task without me reminding you. मैं रोज रिमाइंड नहीं करूंगी. ठीक है, मेक श्योर यू डू इट. अंडरस्टूड? क्लियर? ओके.
Yes.
अलॉन्ग विद दैट, यस, बिफोर क्लास के 1 आवर पहले हम क्लास कंफर्म करते हैं. I might sometimes do it early also. You have to confirm the class that okay, I'm joining. The way Esther informed today that I will not be able to join. If any day you're not able to join, do inform me in advance so I can plan my sessions accordingly. Along with that, yeah, we have our classes from Monday to Friday mostly. If Saturdays I'm available, I will take your session. But don't worry, as we reach our examination date, I will be taking more sessions. So even Saturday, Sundays I take. जिनके एग्जाम्स रहते हैं उनके लिए, ठीक है, don't worry about that part. Every Saturday or Sunday, you decide. Like every weekend, you will have to give one mock test. Okay, I will be sending you
Okay,
that mock test. You will time yourself and you will do it. Now, as we have more students in one batch itself, I'm planning to keep one, slot where you guys come together and give the mock test, and I will time you because we need to be little strict with the timings. Okay, that's the reason.
okay,
We can do that, but let me talk to other two students who are absent since last 2 days, since Tuesday. So I just need to make sure everyone is available. Okay, that's
Okay.
something that I'll do. So give me tomorrow's time, and then we will discuss on it again. Clear? Any other doubts? Any other confusion that you
Not
have?
yet.
Not there, right? Okay, great. Even if we have two students who are giving test next month, I will be taking this session, don't worry. दो स्टूडेंट्स जो है श्रुतिका एंड अपूर्वा वो मोस्टली एब्सेंट रहते हैं, इसके लिए मैं उनके कंफर्मेशन के लिए रुकती भी नहीं हूँ. आप तीनों एस्थर, हमजा, प्रांजलि, आप तीनों मेरे मेन प्रायोरिटी हो
okay,
अभी. मेक श्योर यू कंफर्म द क्लास. ओके,
Yes.
एवरी डे बेसिस, सो आई नो how to proceed with the session. Now, listening, as I told you, it has 5 tasks. And how much time does it have, Pranjali?
36 minutes.
6 minutes.
Very good. It has 36 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I will
Ma'am,
be. Yeah, yeah, tell me.
excuse me.
No
Can I
worries.
turn my camera off?
Okay, what
No,
happened?
actually it is distracting me. That's why I'm
Sure,
saying that.
sure, sure. You can
Uh,
for some time you can turn off in between,
yeah,
but beach में
yeah.
on
Oh,
करो so that I know you are in the
no,
session. Okay.
yeah. I'm in the session now.
Okay, and be responsive, I would say.
Okay,
Okay. As I was saying, of course, I will repeat again while you guys go for the test. Whenever you guys go for the test, उसके पहले जब मैं instructions सारे दूंगी तभी. But for now, just remember when you go for the actual test over there, okay, the time which is given for the audio is not counted in the whole answering का time. ठीक है? Overall, to answer the questions, all the 28 questions, you get 16 minutes in the test. Okay, so sometimes you might get it first, sometimes you might get it second. The exam is divided into two sections. The listening test is divided into two sections. For the first section, sometimes you might get 10 minutes to answer the question. So the way I said, जो ऑडियो का पार्ट है उसका टाइम काउंट नहीं होता है. ठीक है, ओनली आंसरिंग का टाइम काउंट होता है, एंड आंसरिंग का टाइम ओवरऑल यू गेट 16 minutes. Okay, and that is also divided in 10 minutes and 6 minutes. Sometimes पहले 6 minutes आते हैं and बाद में 10 minutes आते हैं. Sometimes it can be vice versa. So on the examination day, write it down if you want. On the examination day, do not panic because of that. This happened with one of my students, though I had asked him to go through the first chapter of the TOEFL guide, but still I don't know, he might have missed out on that information and he panicked on the test day because he could only see 6 minutes on the timer as soon as his first question popped up on the screen. Okay, and because he panicked, he couldn't concentrate after that also. Okay, so don't panic because of such silly things, I would say. Make sure you know what is the timing that you will get, and of course, if you have any questions, there will be people over there. You ask them the questions directly. Do not panic on your own. Okay,
Okay.
okay, ma'am.
understood? Of course, I will be repeating this when you guys go for the test, but just putting it out right now. Okay, so as I said, 6 minutes to answer 2 sets, 10 minutes to answer 3 sets. ऐसे समझो, ठीक है? It could come anytime. So only to answer questions you get 6 minutes plus 10 minutes, that is 16 minutes. Audio का timing count नहीं होता है. So that is how you have to time yourself when you give the mock tests also. Okay, so that you take only 3 minutes, I would say, with each task, each 5 to 6 questions to answer. Of course, they are all MCQs, so I don't think you should face any issue. There is only one table completion or chart completion question that you get usually, and that is also for lectures. Okay, so as they
Okay.
are MCQs, they hardly take 2 minutes, but yes, again, you might know, I must have told us before, that in listening you listen to the whole audio first and then you get the questions on the screen. Okay, now whenever you listen, there will be some picture which will be shown on the screen. Okay, along with that, there will be some vocabulary which will be shown on the screen. So make sure you pay attention to the screen also while you're doing the listening task, even on your test ready portal and in the real test also. Okay,
Okay.
the vocabulary which is very specialized and which we as general public are not supposed to know will be shown on the screen. Okay, because उसके spellings अलग होते हैं, उसके pronunciations अलग होते हैं, we might not know that word or the meaning of it, so it will be shown on the screen for you, so just to know the spellings of it or what the word is exactly. Understood? Clear till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
This becomes essentially important in lectures, because lectures are difficult, conversations are pretty easy. Okay, now as I said, we will be starting with question types. We have 36 minutes to for this task, but sometimes it can extend to 41 minutes also. As I said, the audios might be longer sometimes, correct? So it might exceed 20 minutes for the audio, so sometimes it can go on for extra time also. But of course, answering the questions do not take lot of time, so you finish in 35 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes. Okay, now as I said, you might get conversations, but conversations will not be normal conversations. The conversations will be in academic settings. Okay, now academic setting matlab kya, कि say you go over there, you are a student and you start staying in a dormitory. Okay, so you might require some services, you might have some problem with your dormitory, you might have some issue with your uh, library card, you might have some issue with your travel card, correct? So you might need help, so you will go up to the concerned person and talk to him, correct? Those type of conversations will be there. Another form of conversation which will be there is, mostly you get such type of conversation, that is your conversations with professors. Say you have some concerns regarding the assignment, say you have some concerns regarding the assignment deadline, because you have some other work to do. Say you have some concern about the topic that you have chosen for research. So such kind of concerns the students will take up to the professor during his office times, and then he will talk about it. That's where we have to pay attention to the conversation. Okay, now in such type of conversations, the only difficult task is to sometimes find out the main purpose of the conversation. ठीक है, जो हमारा फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन है हम देखेंगे आगे, डोंट वरी. Then we have lectures. Lectures can be approximately 5 minutes long, and they will always have 6 questions, the way I told you. Okay, now as I said before, the lectures will be little subject specific depending on various subjects that we have, but whatever is asked to you will be from the audio itself. No prior knowledge of that topic is required as such. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Okay.
Yep. Now, topics will vary from arts, life science, physical science, social science. From arts, the topic could be architecture, books, newspapers, cave rock art, city planning, crafts, industrial design, literature and authors, music and music history, painters and painting, photography. When we talk about life science, it could be about animal behavior, animal communication, bacteria and other microorganisms. ये सारे टॉपिक्स हो सकते हैं, बट द वे आई टोल्ड यू, यू डू नॉट नीड एनी prior knowledge of these topics. They won't be very very subject specific also, broader topics होंगे. ठीक है? Then if we talk about physical science, then you might get a topic from astronomy, cosmology, deserts, electromagnetic radiation, glaciers, glacial landforms, seismology, technology of TV, radio, radar. ये सारे topics हो सकते हैं. Some of these topics we will be touching upon once we start with our lessons. Okay, so at least you know something about these topics. These topics are not like alien to you. Okay, that's what we will be going through, so don't worry. At least उसके regarding जो भी हमें vocabulary daily basis पे पता होना चाहिए वो हम थोड़ा सा go through करेंगे. Now from social science, it could be business management, marketing, child development, early writing systems, historical linguistics. ये सारे topics हो सकते हैं. Now coming to the question types that we have. As we know, there are different types of questions in reading as well as listening. Okay, now in listening, as I have told you before, you will get multiple choice questions. Okay, multiple choice questions with more than one correct answer sometimes. So there will be four choices given and you have to select two correct choices or three answers out of five choices. यूजुअली फोर आता है ना, उसमें से टू ही सिलेक्ट करना रहता है, बट समटाइम्स यू माइट गेट फाइव ऑल्सो वेर यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट थ्री. सो दैट इज़ वेयर इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट यू रीड द question properly. Okay, that becomes very very important. Do not miss out on anything. If you choose only one answer for select two or select three, you will not get points for it. Half points, 0.25 ऐसा कुछ सिस्टम नहीं है. Only when you answer both of them correctly, then only you will get a mark over here or a point over here. Okay, in select 3, only if you select 3 correctly, then only you will get points. Otherwise, you will not. Okay, so that's why these questions become very very important. Then sometimes you might get questions that require you to put in events in order or steps in a process. This is usually very important in your lectures. Okay, sometimes you might get questions that require you to match text to categories in a table and place check marks in cells. Okay, ऐसे questions हो सकते हैं. So that's where you need to, whenever the professor is explaining any kind of uh, lecture or he is going on and elaborating a lot, you will make sure you pay attention to it and you make note of it also. Okay, now in listening and all the other tasks which are our integrated tasks, because you know in speaking also and in writing also you have to listen because these are integrated tasks. So listening skills become very very important for us. Along with listening skills, note taking becomes very very important for us. Now just because we say note taking, मतलब इसका meaning ये नहीं है कि we write down each and everything that the professor is saying or whatever they are saying in the conversation. No, we have to understand what types of questions will be asked. Accordingly, you have to take notes. Now, usually, I tell my students that even if you don't take enough notes, that's fine. Listen attentively because taking notes is sometimes distracting as well. कि हम लिख रहे थे इसके लिए जो बोल रहे थे प्रोफेसर वो हमने सुना नहीं और मिस्ड आउट ऑन दैट. Okay, so make sure when you're listening you listen also properly. You are doing active listening and not passive listening. Okay, active listening passive listening हम थोड़ा सा बाद में कवर करेंगे जब हम listening tasks listening lessons चालू कर देंगे तब. ठीक है, now as I said, you listen actively so that if you have not noted down anything, still you should be able to answer that question. Now another question that students usually have is, can we not take notes during our listening and directly start answering the question after listening? Totally depends on you. Some of the toppers who have given the test, their videos are on YouTube. I'm sure you must have checked them. That's the first thing that they tell you, that don't take notes, start answering directly. I would say it totally depends on you. If you think you will be able to listen actively and answer, you can do that. But still, I would say try to take few notes. Okay? If you feel, and why this question comes up, because students find taking notes distracting. The way I told you, हम notes ले रहे थे इसके लिए कुछ सुना नहीं. So students find notes distracting sometimes. So if you feel notes are distracting for you, as you both are students, you both are not occupied anywhere else, I would say take 1 hour or 2 hours every day out where you do, if you feel listening is difficult for you. Okay, of course after first mock test I will get an idea of how where you stand, but for now if you feel that listening is difficult for you, go to YouTube, find good lectures. There are many good lectures. I will also give you ideas. You have TED, of course TED के जो videos है, they are very very good. You can listen to them and take notes. Listen to them without subtitles. There is a channel called Crash Course on YouTube. You can listen to their videos, lectures which are proper like lectures. Try to take notes. If you feel notes are distracting, first just write down 1 word to 5 words. 1 to 5 के रेंज में नोट्स लिखो. Even if from the whole conversation you are just able to gauge the main topic, that's fine, but you have to gauge that. And thoda thoda करके subsequently increase the count of your numbers that you write down, the number of words that you write down while taking notes. से आज मैंने एक ही वर्ड लिखा था पूरा सुनते हुए. Say after 2 days, after 3 days, I will write down 5 words. After 3 4 days, once I'm used to writing 5 words, I will start writing 5 words. 10 words, sorry, my bad. Okay, 5 words, I'm used to 5 words, I will start writing 10 words. Okay, now I'm used to writing 10 words from each lecture, then I will increase it and go to 15 words. Okay, so subsequently you can increase that, not a problem. Understood? If you feel note taking is distracting for you, and of course as you keep practicing you will also understand while listening what points become important. Because see, in listening you can still do without taking notes, okay, but in writing and speaking you will need to take notes because you need to summarize it, you need to put forward those points. Correct? That's where the listening part becomes important. It is not only for listening question, listening test. Okay, any other questions that you guys have over here?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No.
was this helpful? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Next, we have various question types. Overall we have 8 question types in listening. Okay, now in your TOEFL guide also, like this is all taken from your TOEFL guide, but in TOEFL guide example tasks are given over there. So for homework you are going to do those tasks also for the given question types which we covered today. In the class we will be doing it along with the audios and the videos which are given by ETS itself. Now in your book, in your TOEFL guide, the example questions which have been given, उसके audio नहीं है. They are excerpts which are given, transcripts which are given. So you will need to read those transcripts and then answer the questions which have been asked over there. That is why they are, I feel they are not very helpful, because this is a listening task. We should be able to listen and gauge the answer to the question. Okay, that's why I have used the videos from their official site. Okay, clear? I have shared the TOEFL guide in the WhatsApp group, Hamza. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So we have different question types. First one is just content question, and then we have just purpose question. Then we have detailed question. Then we have pragmatic understanding question, where we have to understand the tone or the attitude of the speaker, that is mostly our lecturer. Okay. So that's where we have to understand the function and the attitude. Now, then we have connecting information question, where we need to understand the organization, connecting content, and the inference of the question. Inference, I have already told. Pranjali, do you remember what is inference?
Yes.
Will you be able to elaborate it?
We have to infer about the passage.
Mm-hmm. Give an example and explain.
Mostly it's negative.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't give enough meaning to it, but okay.
Example, which were you provided yesterday? She goes to work daily.
She almost always
Okay.
reaches work on time.
Yes.
She almost always comes to office on time. तो इसमें से हम क्या infer कर सकते हैं? Inference is something that is not given directly. We have to understand an answer. Okay, this
Yes.
comes in your listening also, and then this comes in your reading also. Okay, something that will not be mentioned directly, we have to understand implicitly. Okay, so sometimes, every time नहीं बोल सकते, but most of the times it will be negative, कि जो दिया है ना उसके अपोज में होगा, but हमेशा ही अपोज में होगा is not necessary.
Okay.
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 When we go through reading question types, I'll cover it again for you, Hamza. Don't worry. Okay, and when we do
Okay, ma'am.
inference question also tomorrow in this listening, I'll cover it once again for you. Don't worry. Now, first question type that we have over here is the gist content question. Okay, here we have to understand the gist of a lecture or a conversation. That means basically we have to understand what the main idea or general topic of the lecture or the conversation is. Okay, they will be usually implicitly mentioned. Most of the times it will not be explicitly mentioned. Explicitly मतलब क्या, डायरेक्ट नहीं बोलेंगे. Implicitly मतलब क्या, इनडायरेक्टली बोलेंगे, ऐसे समझ लो. Okay, now questions that test the gist of a lecture or conversation may want you to generalize or synthesize the information that you will hear. But if you ask me, most of the times they will just mention it directly over there कि okay, I wanted to discuss with you regarding the assignment, I wanted the extension in the deadline, ऐसे करके वो बोलेंगे ही. And that's where we have to pay attention. Okay, sometimes there are some distractors, that's where we get confused. Okay, for example, see, student went to the lecture, oh sorry, student went to the professor's office and he started talking about a farewell of another professor which they are planning in the university. And after some time, after all the discussion, then he asks for extension in the assignment deadline. Okay, and then they will ask you over here, what was the purpose of students visit to the professor's office? क्या होगा रीजन बताओ? What is the purpose?
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat it again?
Sure.
Actually, there was a disturbance.
Sure. Student
Uh,
went to the professor's office. They started discussing about a farewell party which they are planning to throw for a professor who is leaving the university. Okay, they will talk about everything about the farewell party, and after some time, the student will ask the extension in the assignment date. Okay, and the question would be something like, what is the purpose of students visit to the professor's office?
that extension of the project.
Deadline, correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes students might just get distracted and feel कि वो farewell के बारे में बात करने चला गया था, but that is not the actual purpose. Whenever we meet someone, we actually start talking about something else and then we come to the main point. Correct? Usually when we meet for informal conversations, even with the professor, right? So that is how it could get distracting sometimes. That's where we have to pay proper attention to the audio. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Yes.
The questions would mostly start something like this: what problem does the man have? What are the speakers mainly discussing? What is the main topic of the lecture? What is the lecture mainly about? What aspect of dash dash does the professor mainly discuss? That is how the question will be. Okay, now this content question will ask you about the overall content of the lecture or the conversation. Okay, here of course the way we discussed in reading also, the best way is to eliminate the choices that refer to only small portion of what you just listened to. You have to cater to the whole audio. You can't just go according to the just small one small point over here. Okay, it can also be sometimes helpful to summarize the topic of the lecture or the conversation in one phrase or sentence before looking at the answer choices if you are able to. But again, while you are listening to the audio, I would say sometimes what students do is they get stuck with this question, because we always get this question. ये question हमारा हो गया मतलब 1 point confirm है हमारा each conversation में, each task में. This is like a compulsory question which will come at the start of the task. Okay, but what the students do is they get stuck with this question कि अरे purpose क्या है, purpose क्या है, purpose क्या है, purpose नहीं बोला है अभी तक. And because of that we miss out on all the other essential information in the lecture or the conversation. So we don't have to get stuck with this question. Just go ahead with it, you will get this answer eventually. अभी जो मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया था स्टार्ट में ऑफ द कॉन्वर्जेशन विद द professor, if we get stuck with what is the purpose of the lecture or what is the purpose of the conversation over here, if we get stuck with that, we might just miss out on all the other things that they discuss in that conversation. Okay, that's why we don't have to get stuck with this also. Again, remember that you will get it eventually when the answers options come on your screen. Don't worry about it. Then we have just purpose question, which is similar to just content question, but here they're mostly asking why rather than what. Just content was more about what. Here they're asking you why question. Okay, that is why here they're talking about the purpose. Why does the student visit the professor? Why does the student visit the registrar's office? Why did the professor ask to see the student? That is how the questions will be. Okay. Now students visit प्रोफेसर्स ड्यूरिंग ऑफिस आवर्स. हमारे जैसा नहीं रहता इंडिया जैसा कि हम कभी भी चले गए प्रोफेसर के ऑफिस में. दे हैव प्रॉपर विजिटिंग आवर्स ओवर देयर. Okay, now sometimes there could be cases where a professor invites students to discuss something regarding the assignment or the performance that the students is poor, correct? So you might just ask him to visit. To answer a just purpose question, you will have to make notes, and you will have to pay attention to your notes for information that identifies the students visit during the conversation in the first place. Okay, now the purpose of the conversation is not usually the conversation's main topic. जो मैंने example दिया, it was the same. Conversation का main topic कुछ अलग था, but the purpose for the task type was something different. For example, again given over here, a student might visit a professor for the purpose of asking a question about the professor's grading policy, but they might be talking about something else over there. So that's where we have to pay attention. Okay, now after answering her question, the professor might spontaneously ask how the student is progressing on a research project, and the rest of the conversation is about that project. So topic start कुछ अलग चीज से हुआ था and it progressed to something else. Okay, now this is where we might miss out or get distracted, I would say. Now in service encounter conversations, the student is often trying to solve a problem. Service encounter is nothing but where I said you might visit your residence office, or you might just go to your you might just go for your meal card into canteen or to a library, correct? So that is your service encounter conversations. So over there, of course, whenever you go, you will have some problem that you're facing. That is when you will go, right? Now understanding what the student's problem is will help you to find the answer to this question over here. Okay, understood? Clear?
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good. Here we are going to watch a small video along with the audios with the task and the question. Okay, you have to try answering the questions at the end. Pay attention.
Hi, I'm Michael from ETS. Today on Inside the TOEFL Test, we're going inside the TOEFL IBT listening section, specifically the GIST content and GIST purpose questions. The gist of something is the main point or key idea. In the TOEFL IBT test, GIST content questions ask you to identify the main topic or idea of the listening conversation or lecture. GIST purpose questions ask you to identify what the main purpose of the conversation or lecture is. You can recognize GIST content and GIST purpose questions because they use phrases like mainly about, mainly discussing, why does the student, or what is the main purpose. Here are two things to keep in mind when answering GIST content and GIST purpose questions. In the listening section, there will always be either a GIST content question or a GIST purpose question, but never both. This question will always be the first question after listening to the passage. Also, sometimes the lectures and conversations can have two main ideas. In this case, the GIST content or GIST purpose question may ask you to choose two of the four answer options instead of just one. Let's look at some sample GIST.
Okay, so now he is going to play an audio and then we will have two questions. Try it out, okay? Try to
Okay.
take notes.
Content and GIST purpose questions. First, we'll listen to part of a conversation between a coach and a student, catching up on what happened while the student was away.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hey, Coach. I just thought I'd stop by to see what I missed while I was gone.
Well, we've been working real hard on our plan for the next game. I've asked Susan to go over it with you before practice this afternoon, so you'll know what we're doing.
Okay.
By the way, how did your brother's wedding go?
Oh, it was beautiful. And the whole family was there. I saw aunts and uncles and cousins I hadn't seen in years.
So it was worth the trip.
Oh, definitely. I'm sorry I had to miss practice, though. I feel bad about that.
Family's very important.
Yep. Okay, I guess I'll see you this afternoon at practice then.
Just a minute. There are a couple of other things I need to tell you.
Oh, okay.
First, everybody's getting a new team jacket.
Wow. How'd that happen?
A woman who played here about 25 years ago came through town a few weeks ago and saw a game and said she wanted to do something for the team.
So she's buying us new jackets?
Yep.
Wow, that's really nice of her.
Yes, it is. It's great that former players still care so much about our school and our basketball program. Anyway, you need to fill out an order form. I'll give it to you now so you can bring it back this afternoon. I've got the forms from the other players, so as soon as I get yours, we can order. Maybe we'll have the jackets by the next game.
Okay.
Great. And the next thing is, Mary's transferring to another college next week. So we'll need someone to take over her role as captain for the second half of the season. And the other players unanimously picked you to take over as captain when Mary leaves.
Wow. I saw everybody this morning and nobody said a word.
They wanted me to tell you. So, do you accept?
Of course.
So an example of a gist content question for this passage is, what are the speakers?
Try answering. What are the speakers mainly discussing? That is the question. And four options have been given.
Oh, option C.
Option C.
Yeah.
Hamza, what do you think?
Ma'am, option B.
The voting.
Sorry, no,
Mm-hmm.
not option. Yeah, I think option B. But it is asking just content, na? Yes, ma'am, option C.
Okay.
Mainly discussing. And an example of a gist purpose question is, why does the student go to see the...
Try answering this one also. It will be similar. The answer will be similar, but still try. Read the question. Why does the student go to see the coach? Only if you observe the way they are asking the question changes, and the way options are given changes a little bit. Okay, but it is asking you the same thing.
C option only, ma'am.
Okay, Pranjali.
I guess A.
A.
Yeah.
कैसे पहले के लिए C select किया now why are you selecting A? Is the same question. It has just been paraphrased.
Okay.
Okay, so the option will remain the same if you are saying C. Okay, let's see the answers now.
coach. Whichever question is asked, you can figure out the answer by focusing on the main point of the conversation or lecture. The female student tells us her reason for going to see the coach in the early part of the conversation when she says this.
I just thought I'd stop by to see what I missed while I was gone.
That tells us both the main idea of the conversation and why she went to see the coach. So for both questions, the best answer
Understood? Very good. You guys got it correctly.
is C. Here's a tip for improving your listening skills. Listen to academic lectures in English as much as possible. Be sure to listen to lectures in various subject areas: science, social science, business, arts, literature. You can search online for universities that post their lectures for free. Start with short lectures on topics you are familiar with, then build up to longer ones on topics that are not familiar to you. Listen to the same lecture multiple times if you need to. There are lots of ways to improve your
Okay, clear?
English.
Any questions? Any confusion?
No.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
great. Let's look at the next question type that we have, that is detailed questions. Okay, detailed questions. That's the type 3 that we have. Just content, just purpose, type 1, type 2 हमारे हो गए. ठीक है? Now, detailed question will ask you to understand and remember some explicit details or facts which are mentioned in your lecture or the conversation. Okay, these details will be related to directly or indirectly to the gist of the conversation or the lecture, because that's the main topic, correct? These are like your supporting ideas. Now, by providing elaborative narration, examples, or other support, in some cases where there is a long digression that is not clearly related to the main idea. So, say professor is discussing about something and student has asked some question. So, your lectures over here are like normal lectures जैसे होते हैं. ठीक है, जैसे Esther yesterday got confused with something and she asked me some question in between and then I had to go back and narrate everything. रीडिंग में ऐसा होता है वैसे होता है. So we were digressing from whatever we were discussing in the lecture, correct, in the session. So sometimes that happens in these audios also. Professor might just digress from the main topic because the student has asked some question. Okay, sometimes the professor might have some misspeaks. Professors might say something wrongly and go back and correct themselves. So जैसे normal एक आधा lecture होता है ना, वैसे ही ये lectures भी होंगे. Okay.
Okay.
So that's where we have to pay attention. Sometimes they might also have distractors. Distractors are not the main thing that they are talking about, something that they have put in between. Sometimes they might just give wrong words in between. Usually distractors ज़्यादा नहीं होते TOEFL में, but yes, there might be sometimes, usually in conversations. Okay, now as I said, the long digression would be from the main idea, so you may be asked about some details of such digressions also. So you have to pay attention while listening. Okay, that becomes very, very important. The questions would be something like this. According to the professor, what is one way that X can affect Y? What is X? What resulted from the invention of the X? According to the professor, what is the main problem with the dash dash theory? These are the types of questions that will be asked. Okay. Now, of course, as you take notes, you will refer to your notes over here. You will not be asked about minor things. You will be asked major points. ये नहीं पूछेंगे कि when did, the way I told you, when did World War happen? So हमें year नहीं पूछेंगे. हमें पूछेंगे why did World War take place? They will ask you broader topics. Okay. Now these major details, while you take notes, you should note down from the conversation and the lecture. Now, the way I told you in reading, do not choose an answer just because you feel that it contains some keywords which were mentioned in the conversation or the lecture. Okay. Now, incorrect responses over here will contain words and phrases from the lecture or the conversation. Of course, उसके अलावा बाहर का कुछ नहीं पूछेंगे. They will ask you from the lecture itself. So even the options will be from the lecture itself. Okay. So don't get distracted. If you are unsure of the correct response, decide which one is the most suitable choice and consistent with the main idea of the conversation or the lecture. Okay, whatever they have discussed in the lecture overall. Clear? Understood?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Let's listen to one audio with the help of the given video.
Hi, I'm Michael from ETS. Today on Inside the TOEFL Test, we're going inside the TOEFL IBT listening section, specifically the detailed questions. Detailed questions are probably the most straightforward of all the listening question types. They will ask you to remember specific facts about the lecture or conversation. You can recognize detailed questions because they include phrases like according to and what is in the question. Detailed questions will always ask about an important conceptual detail. You will not be expected to memorize trivial details, such as whether something happened in 1977 or 1978. The answer to a detailed question will always be explicitly stated in the listening conversation or lecture. Now let's look at a sample detail question. First, here's an excerpt from a conversation between a coach and a student who are catching up on what happened while the student was away.
Okay, I guess I'll see you this afternoon at practice then.
Just a minute. There are a couple of other things I need to tell you.
Oh, okay.
First, everybody's getting a new team jacket.
Wow. How'd that happen?
A woman who played here about 20, 25 years ago came through town a few weeks ago and saw a game and said she wanted to do something for the team.
So she's buying us new jackets?
Yep.
Wow, that's really nice of her.
An example of a detail question is, who is buying new jackets for the team? Again, a detail question will
Try answering.
C1. C1.
Yeah, the C1.
Okay. Former player.
always be a fact that is directly stated in the listening passage. The coach explicitly tells the woman that a former player is the one who is buying the team new jackets, which makes option C the correct answer.
Looks very easy when we do it in practice, but actual task में जब हम करते हैं थोड़ा सा difficult लगता है, okay?
Here's a tip to help you practice recognizing important details in a conversation or lecture. Find a friend or study partner and listen to a short audio clip. When it's finished, each of you write down as much as you can remember. Then compare notes to see who remembered more of the important points and supporting details. There are lots of
Okay, this is something that you can try. Now, for today, we'll stop over here. We are done with basic questions for today. Over here, your task is that you have to go to the listening chapter of the TOEFL guide. Let me stop sharing. You have to go to the listening chapter, that is chapter number 3 of your TOEFL guide, and over there I have already told you there are 3 examples given. Okay, like there are examples given with each of the question type. Okay, we did 3 question types today, so you will
Yes,
do
ma'am.
the question types examples for the same. Okay, that is for your
Okay.
first gist purpose, gist content, and then the detailed question. Do all the 3 examples without looking at the solution. Try to gauge the answer. Once you have gauged the answer, check it and see if you go wrong by chance, where you went wrong. Abhi, when we read it, it little bit changes because when we are listening to it, even their intonations, their tone come into the picture. They help us to understand what the professor is actually saying. Reading sometimes might deviate from that or not give you that feeling, but still try. कहाँ पर हमें क्या चीज़ गेज करनी है वो तो हमें एटलीस्ट समझे, ठीक है. Along with that you will go through the listening chapter. Okay, along with that you will go through the chapter number 1. Okay, and I will share a few words with you which are important vocabulary for TOEFL. Make
Okay.
sure you know the meaning of these words. Mostly you will know because we use them on everyday basis, but still try to note it down in your notebook, the correct meaning of it and the correct usage of it. Now correct usage जब हम बोलते हैं, we need to understand whether it's what part of speech is it. Okay, example, it could be an adjective, it could be a pronoun, it could be a noun. So we need to understand what it is, what part of speech it is, and how to use it in a sentence. Okay, if you guys face
Okay.
any confusion with that, don't worry, we will cover that also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, any other doubts that you guys have?
Ma'am, one doubt.
Sure.
Regarding you told us about doing a task from ETS website.
Correct.
So we only have to do writing and speaking part,
No,
or
no, no.
reading and listening also.
No, 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 no. I'm asking you to wait. I'll show you. Give me 1 second. Let me just log into that, so I will be able to show you. Okay. Need to give me 2 minutes. I'm going to share my entire screen. Do not judge my tabs. I have many tabs open. Okay. Can you see the screen? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Over here, you will be able to see once you log into your ETS website, that is toeflibt.ets.org. This is what you will see. Okay, you will go to test ready, view test ready. It will redirect you over there with same password and login. You will log in over there. Okay, you will sign in. Once you have signed in, you will see something like this, loading first, and then you will see something like this. Okay, you have to go to free to you option. Can you see this option, free to you? Once you have clicked on free to you, it will show you on the left hand side free activity of the day. They put up one task every day over here. You also have full practice test over here, but do not give that practice test right now. We will give that during the last week of our training. Okay, so don't give it right now. Okay, you will do this free activity of the day every day. मतलब यहाँ पर every day नया task आता है. ठीक है, so you will log in over there and you will do. You will start the activity. Today they have speaking with listening and speaking, so try doing it. Okay, this is your task number 4. You will get a listening audio over here and you will have to give examples and definitions from that lecture itself. Try it. Now you don't know anything about speaking, I know that, but still try it. Try it raw and then tell me, like update me your score, so I know what is the gap and where is the gap and how much we need to work upon it. Okay, I guess Pranjali, you had sent me the speaking score that in a 3 out of 4, correct?
Yes.
हाँ, that's a good score. Don't worry, 4 आ जाएगा आराम से वहाँ से. ठीक है. Now you are lacking a little bit in reading and listening, you told me, and Hamza already told me he also faced issue with reading. So we will work on that accordingly. ठीक है. Reading के even I have some mock tests. We can do that. Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Clear? Any questions? Any other concerns?
I face issue in inference questions.
Still facing issue with inference questions ना? थोड़ा सा हम practice करेंगे inference question का. Don't worry about it. ठीक है? हमारे सारे question types हो जाने दो, then we will practice.
Okay.
In the lessons also we will practice, so don't worry. Okay? Any other
Yes.
concerns?
No.
Okay. Okay then. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.